At this time, we will call our regularly scheduled council meeting to order. Mr. Rogers, if you would please give the invocation. Mr. Crawford, lead us in the pledge, please.
Yes, sir. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for all you've done for us, Lord. Thank you for this city. Thank you for the citizens of this city, Lord. Pray that you would give us wisdom as we conduct the business of the folks. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I believe that's the loudest pledge we've ever had at a council meeting. Good job, folks.
Yeah, it sounded good.
Next item on the agenda is the reading of the minutes of the previous council meeting. If members of council have had an opportunity to review these, I will entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda, communications from the mayor. Again, great job. Oh, wouldn't it be nice to have this big crowd every time we have a council meeting? And it'd really be, no offense, guys, really be nice if all of them was this pretty, wouldn't it? We're glad you ladies are here tonight. Looks like y'all decided to be the outstanding team in our community this year. We kind of let the football team have it last year, and it must have made you young ladies mad because y'all decided to go do it this year. Congratulations to you. Miss James has something she's going to read, and we'd like for y'all to come up after she gets through.
I'm going to stand up. Office of the Mayor, City of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia. Proclamation. Lady Warriors Appreciation. Whereas Lakeview Middle School girls softball team had an outstanding 2019 season with an overall 14-1 record, and whereas the Lady Warriors successfully completed 9 run rule victories with 6 shutout games, and whereas their tremendous batting average was .320, scoring 114 runs while allowing only 24 runs from opponents, and whereas the Lady Warriors softball team struck out 31% of their opponents this season, and whereas the team won the 2019 North Georgia Athletic Conference for the first time since 2006. Now therefore, by this proclamation, I, Earl Gray, Mayor of the City of Fort Oglethorpe, do hereby proclaim the Lakeview Middle School girls softball team players and coaches local superstars, and do hereby express the appreciation of myself and the citizens of our fine city to the team for their many contributions. Feathers up. Congratulations.
Go in the middle, Rhonda.
Come on, you do this.
Come on up, girl.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I can stand behind you.
Tell them where you want them, Brian.
Yeah, just line up here.
Here, Mo, you can
If
hold
you don't mind, don't go too far over that way because the camera will be blocking you. Okay, we're going to take, there's going to be 2 of us taking pictures, okay? Okay, y'all ready? Y'all ready?
Oh, feathers up.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, now look at me, okay? Y'all ready? Feathers
It's
up.
hard to.
Thanks, Jim. 3, 2, 1, let me get several. Okay, now we got one more. Adam, look at this guy.
Good. Thank you.
Congratulations, Coach. What's up, buddy? If you young ladies want to leave, y'all go right ahead. We know y'all don't want to stay for this.
Ladies, we got cake.
Come to go get cake. Let them eat cake.
She don't want to care?
Right there.
It's right there in the corner, it's visible.
Let them go out there and eat.
Stages.
Now, break the window.
Okay, all right, I'll go next. Now, we're like sardines.
You're about to, actually.
They had chairs in here, they said you couldn't sit.
We're used to that thing from high school, them benches, we all got 1, 2, 3, jump.
Hey, Robert. How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
That's okay.
The coaches were trying to keep it straight.
They're all good athletes too.
It was hilarious.
Hey. He come there. Yeah, let me.
Next item on our agenda tonight is zoning matters. We do not have anything tonight. Next item on the agenda is ordinances. The third and final reading for ordinance number 2019-31. Mr. Stokes.
Ordinance number 2019-31, rezoning, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and it is hereby ordained by authority thereof that the following property owned by Nicholas Lelo Central Partners and known as map 0002F099135 Patterson Avenue, Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, hereby rezoned to C2 special exception zoning. Said property is particularly described in the rezoning ordinance. If any part of this ordinance shall be held to be invalid or unconstitutional, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect or impair other parts of this ordinance unless it clearly appears that such other parts are wholly and necessarily dependent upon the part held to be invalid or unconstitutional. That this ordinance shall take effect from and after its adoption by the mayor and council. First reading, 23rd day of September. Second reading, 7th day of October. Third and final reading tonight, 14th day of October 2019. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second, sir.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Ms. James?
Yes.
Ms. Stinney?
Yes.
Mr. Childs?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 2 under ordinances, the third and final reading of ordinance number 2019-32. Mr. Stokes.
Ordinance number 2019-32, rezoning, be it ordained by the mayor and council for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by authority thereof. Section 1, that the following property owned by Fort Oglethorpe Marketplace, LLC, and known as MAP 0003A 105 526 Battlefield Parkway, Suite 99, Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, is hereby rezoned to a C2 general commercial special exception zoning. Said property is particularly described in the zoning ordinance attached. If any part of this ordinance shall be held to be invalid or unconstitutional, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect or impair other parts of this ordinance, unless it clearly appears that such other parts are wholly and necessarily dependent upon the part held to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 3, that this ordinance shall take effect from and after its adoption by the mayor and council. First reading, 23rd day of September. Second reading, 7th day of October 2019. Third reading, 14th day of October 2019.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Second, sir.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Childs?
Yes.
Ms. Stinney?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 3 under ordinances is the second reading of ordinance number 2019-33. Mr. Stokes.
Ordinance number 2019-33, ordinance to approve the 2020 fiscal year budget for the city of Fort Oglethorpe. Whereas the duly elected governing authority of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, is authorized under Article 9, Section 2, Paragraph 3 of the Constitution of the state of Georgia the official code of Georgia annotated 3635-3, and the charter of the city of Port Oglethorpe, Georgia, to adopt reasonable ordinances to protect and improve the public health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the city of Port Oglethorpe, Georgia. And whereas the duly elected governing authority of the city of Port Oglethorpe, Georgia is vested in the city council composed of a mayor and 5 council members, and whereas that all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are hereby repealed, and whereas if any part of this ordinance shall be held to be invalid or unconstitutional, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect or impair other parts of this ordinance unless it clearly appears that such other parts are wholly and necessarily dependent upon the part held to be invalid or unconstitutional. Now therefore it is hereby ordained by the governing authority for the city of Port Oglethorpe that the following shall constitute the fiscal year 2020 budget. This ordinance shall take effect on January 1st, 2020. First reading, 23rd day of September. Second reading, 14th day of October 2019.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Item number 4 under ordinances is the second reading of ordinance number 2019-34. Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance number 2019-34, rezoning, be it ordained by the mayor and council for the city of Port Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by authority thereof, section 1, that the following property owned by Jeff Epperson and known as map 0003F03500A 2840 Lafayette Road, Port Oglethorpe, Georgia 30742 is hereby rezoned to a C1 special exception E zoning. Said property is particularly described in the other ordinance herewith. If any part of this ordinance shall be held to be invalid or unconstitutional, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect or impair other parts of this ordinance unless it clearly appears that such other parts are wholly and necessarily dependent upon the part held to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 3, that this ordinance shall take effect from and after its adoption by the mayor and council. First reading, 7th day of October 2019. Second reading, 14th day of October 2019.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Next item on the agenda is resolutions. Resolution number 2019-10. Ms. Simpkins.
Mayor and Council, this is a resolution to modify the position control and pay plan for all classified and appointed personnel. You originally adopted the position control and pay plan on November 12, 2018. We've had a couple of amendments since then. This is a third request for an amendment, and this simply updates the pay scale for the fire marshal position to reflect the average salary for like positions in the area. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you, Ms. Simpkins. I have a motion to approve.
Make a motion. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Crawford.
Yes.
Ms. Stinney.
Yes.
Mr. Child.
Yes.
Ms. James.
Yes.
Mr. Rogers.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda, unfinished business. We have none. Next item is reading of the city clerk of any communications. We have none. Next item on the agenda is new business. Item number 1 under new business, proposed approval to purchase Ray Esslinger easement. Mr. Parker.
Mr. Mayor, this request is to purchase property for the ingress and egress to the Highway 41 Phase 4 pump station. This location is adjacent to the parcel of land that we bought for the pump station, and it is at a location of an existing curb cut on State Route 146. So it makes it the most useful place to put a curb cut without having to go back to the DOT and request a new curb cut. So we're requesting approval to purchase this parcel for $7,710.90.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. I have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 2 under new business, proposed approval for CTI task order number 2019-17. Mr. Parker.
Mr. Mayor, this task order is for post SSES rehab, where we did the rehab project, the sanitary sewer project that we've been doing for like 18 months now, is coming to an end. This is a required post flow monitoring in the Chattanooga IJA that states in section 65 that we're required to do post flow monitoring to see how effective our rehab project has been. We have to keep the flow monitors in service until we receive 3 one-inch rain events. And right now, what we're proposing to do is not set the flow monitors out probably until December, hopefully to get December and January. This agreement does cover a 3rd month if it becomes necessary. So the price range is going to be a lump sum fee between $63,400 and $88,900 if we get it done in December, which doubtful we'll get 3 one-inch rain events in December. But that's what we have to wait on until we get 3 one-inch rain events. Then this will be, the flow monitoring will be complete. This will include 16 flow monitors placed the same location that we placed them before we did the rehab project. So we'll get real accountability for what we did accomplish and where we're still lacking.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you.
Item number 3, under new business, proposed approval to pay Catoosa County Tax Commissioner. Ms. Simpkins.
Mayor and council, this is an annual item that we bring before you. In 2017, we entered into a 5-year agreement with the Catoosa County Tax Commissioner for collection services for our property taxes. In 2017, the first year of the contract, we were billed at a rate of $3 per parcel. In 2018, we were billed at a rate of $3 per parcel, and then in 2018, for 2019, we will also be billed $3 per parcel. In 2019, the statement covers 4,068 real and personal property bills and 11 mobile home bills. There's no assessment for software or equipment enhancements. That's also included in our 5-year agreement with the tax commissioner. So the total amount owed to the tax commissioner in 2019 is $12,237. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Simpkins. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda, City Manager's Report. Ms. Simpkins.
Mayor, I don't have anything this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Simpkins. Next item on the agenda, City Council comments. Mr. Childs.
No comments tonight, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Childs. Mr. Crawford.
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate the Lady Warriors. I know they're out there eating cake. That's a good accomplishment. And I'd also like to their biggest fans, David and Rhonda. Rhonda, you do a good job, especially with the female sports there at Lakeview, being a big supporter, and I really appreciate that on what you do. And Miss Simpkins, apparently y'all probably wore out. I know Miss James and Miss Stennett was involved in training today with a lot of the department heads, and I think it was, from what I understand and hear from different people, it was very good.
Very
So good job on that. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Mr. Rogers.
I don't have anything tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Ms. James.
Of course, I want to say again, congratulations to the Lakeview Middle School Lady Warriors. Great accomplishment this year. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. James. Ms. Stennett.
Yes, sir. Well, echo that congrats to the ladies, and they were awesome tonight in their appearance. They were just bubbly about what they have accomplished. Want to remind everybody on November the 9th that we have the Chickamauga Battlefield Marathon leaving right here on Barnhart Circle, and the Fort Oglethorpe 5K, which will travel through Honor Park, a tribute to those who serve. Hope everyone will sign up for the Fort Oglethorpe 5K as the proceeds go toward our own 6th Cavalry Museum. And don't forget at 2 o'clock that same day, November the 9th, you can hear the Scottish Highland bagpipes playing in Honor Park and hear the retired Admiral Noah Long with his keynote address as we dedicate Honor Park, a tribute to those who serve. I do hope to see everyone there. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Denny. Next item on the agenda is citizens' petitions and requests. We do not have anything for that tonight. Next item on the agenda is executive session. I will entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel.
Make a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are in executive session. Motion to come out of executive session.
Motion, sir.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are out of executive session. In executive session, we discussed personnel. Next item on the agenda is adjournment. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.